Good day everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Wysol and today I'm going to be talking about Ascended Masters and Descended Masters. First things first, just ignore the Moldavite on my head. I have just come out of meditation with it. Got a new bezeddness piece, so I thought I'd meditate with all my Moldavite. But anyway, let's get on to the video. So Ascended Masters and Descended Masters. Now most people probably have never heard of Descended Masters. They're probably, some may be thinking in their head, this is a load of bollocks. No such thing. Yes, there is. Now, I've come across the term Descended Masters a couple of months back from a video by the author of a book that I'm going to mention called Connor Kendall. He is a black magician that's written a recent book that's just come out very recently within the last 20 days. Called Necromancer, the Path of the Descended Masters. I will speak about necromancy in a little bit as well, because most people probably have a very bad misconception of that. But firstly, I'm going to start off by talking about what Descended Masters and Ascended Masters are. Now, I'm not 100% sure if this is the same for Descended Masters, but Ascended Masters are disincarnate beings that have left this plane of existence with their body and soul. Okay, this is why I've said before that Ascended Masters cannot reincarnate, because they still have their physical body. Okay, so they still keep their body. Okay, it's just less dense. You can check out a story on Babaji. There was a story of him. He like showed himself to someone or something. I would just YouTube not Avatar Babaji, Guru Babaji reappearing or something like that, and you can check that out. But they are essentially beings that are capable of residing in a higher dimension, but they've still kept their body. Okay. Now you can have the 12 dimensions of the higher or light spectrum and the 12 dimensions of the dark spectrum. So the Ascended Masters are the masters of each ray of the light spectrum, and the Descended Masters are the masters of each ray of the dark spectrum. Okay. Now, according to the author of the Necromancer, okay, the Descended Masters have ascended the state of the Ascended Masters. Okay. Personally, I'm not sure if they're 100% true, but the feelings that I get from the cover compared to meditating on Ascended Masters is much more powerful. Much more powerful. Okay, now I'm going to show you the cover of each books that I'm going to semi-talk about, because one book is related to the Ascended Masters, one book is related to the Descended Masters. So one has things like macabre practices, the 12 rays, or 7 or 12 rays, basic like LBPR, stuff like that, and the other is, again, Necromancer, the Path of the Descended Masters. So there is animal sacrifice in the book. It's death magic. It's a book on death magic. Okay, I haven't done the path working for this. I'm not 100% sure how I go about doing an animal sacrifice as a vegan, although my perspective on a lot of things is changing. Anyway, these are the two books where I've got most of my information from Ascended Masters and Descended Masters from, and you will not find anything else on Descended Masters anywhere, except this book and maybe this video. I'm only going to speak about a handful of the names of the Descended Masters in this video, not all of them in the book. The reason I'll mention those names is because the author of the book, he does Q&A all the time, and I asked him, have you tried to contact Ascended Masters and Descended Masters like at the same time? And he essentially said, no, you could, but he doesn't know why we would want to, because the Descended Masters will teach you, they'll kind of teach you opposite things, but then the Descended Masters can teach you kind of the forbidden things that the Ascended Masters are essentially not allowed to teach because they reside in the light, in the energetic force of light, okay? And if you don't know what the energetic force of light is, check out my video called Energy, Light and Dark, okay? So there's energy and there's light and dark energy, and Ascended Masters reside in the light energy, okay? So, the names of the Descended Masters that the author, Connor Kendall, mentioned in his Q&A, I'll mention them after going through some stuff on Ascended Masters for you. Righty, now there are actually a lot of Ascended Masters, okay? There are thousands from different planetary systems, but I've got a handful on a list here that I'll read out that you probably recognise and that you may not recognise. So Sunak Kumara, Ascended Master, Babaji, Merlin. Some people do consider Merlin to be a figure of Saint Germain, who is another one that's on the list. But some put him separate, the energetic imprint of him is separate. And some people also consider Merlin as a group of druids that were around the time of Merlin, okay? Again, Saint Germain, another Ascended Master, Solomon, Zoroaster, Thoth, Ra and Quetzalcoatl. These are all just names or faces of Ascended Masters, okay? Now the Descended Masters that the author Connor mentioned in his Q&A was Anuas, which is the Ascended Master of Death. That is kind of who the premises of that book is about. I'll show you the book in a second. Sankor, Spiritual Warfare, Master of Spiritual Warfare. Kal Anak, Master of Spiritual Vampirism. Kao Li, Descended Master of Sex Magic, and Zevek, who I'm interested in the most, is the Master of Forbidden Knowledge. You see, I just like knowing things that you're not supposed to know. It's like when Sadhguru said, don't just get a Saligram. So I just bought a Saligram. Anyway, so those are a few names of Ascended Masters and Descended Masters. So these are the two books that I have gathered most of these information from Ascended Masters and Descended Masters. So this will probably be the thumbnail. I'm going to stick these next to my head as I usually do. So, the information where I get my information from Ascended Masters from, I don't just get it from books, is why I meditate on the names, on the subjects. If you do want to connect to any of Ascended Masters and Descended Masters, vibrate their names in a meditation like a mantra, okay? That will draw their energy to you, and then you should be able to connect to them. I'm not 100% sure if that's going to work for the Descended Masters, but it does work for Ascended Masters, okay? So, Ascension Magic. I've showed this book before. This has everything you need to know about Ascended Masters, the Macabre, the 7 rays, the 12 rays. If you want to get into kind of basic rituals, it's got the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram, and stuff like that. And this is the new book called The Necromancer by Connor Kendall. So as I hold these up here, I'm going to put one down. So I just want to speak about necromancy very quickly, or necromancer, because it mentions in this book as well. Anyone that's a medium, any psychic contacting disincarnate beings, you are doing necromancy. So if you have a bit of a weird thought process on necromancy or being a necromancer, anything that ends in any kind of magical term that ends in ancy, claromancy, necromancy, aeromancy, they're all forms of divination, okay? So necromancy is just doing a form of divination through the dead. So contacting dead loved ones for a tarot reading, that's fucking necromancy. That's necromancy. Yeah, I never thought about it that way, But once you just start to like connect the dots and realize, well, a lot of people are doing necromancy then. There's a lot of mediums on YouTube, psychic mediums on YouTube, that are essentially doing necromancy. Yeah. Alright. This, you can't see his eyes properly, unfortunately. But as soon as I opened the door to my room, I looked at this and stared at this dude's eyes for like a good couple of minutes. I don't know what it is about. There's just something I like about this book. This is not a book for the faint-hearted. It will warn you. It will give you like warnings that the current of death isn't something that everyone wants to kind of partake in. It's not for everyone, essentially. But they can lead you to the Descended Masters. Or the current can lead you to Descended Masters. So where do we move on from here? Descended Masters and Ascended Masters. I only thought there was Ascended Masters. What the fuck? Well, the more you try to learn, the more you realise you don't know anything. I thought Ascended Masters were just like the only thing, and then I started coming across Descended Masters. I was like, what the fuck? So yeah. I'm not sure if all the Descended Masters are mirror faces of Ascended Masters and vice versa, but that is something that I'll come back to finding out in the future. So like I said, you can connect with Ascended Masters and Descended Masters. Vibrate their names. Again, if you want more info on Descended Masters, get this book. Unfortunately, it's only in hardback at the moment, so if you are willing to wait for paperback to get released, then wait. But I thought I would definitely get this in hardback because this is the only book with information on Descended Masters you will find in the world. That is why I got it in hardback. You will not find any other information on the subject in the world. I couldn't find anything. Even the author was like, I couldn't find anything either. So, that is my video for today. Ascended Masters and Descended Masters. Descended Masters are very real. I'm just putting this video out to widen people's spectrum of knowledge and kind of open your awareness to things that are out there. It isn't just light and Ascended Masters, there are Descended Masters. They are not bad. And Ascended Masters are not good, okay? Ascended Masters are known as the Brothers of the White Cloth or the White Brotherhood, and Descended Masters are known as the Brothers or Sisters of the Black Cloth or the Black Brotherhood, okay? But yeah, thank you for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you haven't already, and I shall see you next time. Peace out.